And welcome back to the Metal Mixtape. It's the boy, it's the Don DJ Ramo. It is time. It is interview time. We have Jason Hardouin from beginning, just beginning on the air right now. What is up, Jason?
What is happening, Mr. Omar DJ Ramo Rodriguez?
Dude, it's the new year. We made it another round around the world, man. I'm just happy that we haven't got hit by an asteroid yet, or a tidal wave, or aliens haven't came up to
Actually,
just steal our organs. You know what I mean?
oh my God, you see on the news like all the water on the beaches there, people are getting pounded right now. This global warming thing's real, but I keep teasing. I said, I kind of looking forward to the aliens showing up one day because once that happens, it's gonna be like there's no like race. It's just like everybody's a human, right? There's no division. It's like okay, it's us and the aliens.
What
So,
what if like they're already here, but we're just like so dumb when
oh,
we can't really perceive them.
like the lizard people, like
Like
like the
like the like the
undercover.
like the morphers. Yeah, that could be real, man.
I think so. I mean, like I don't rule anything out these days. I mean, there's just so much, random crazy shit stuff in the world. And I promised myself I will try not to curse on the air because I don't want to get a bill, you know.
Yep, you're the one getting it. I'm gonna get it for my show, and I'm gonna be like,
Forward
Jason's
it.
poured it, yeah, poured it to the guy. But
Yeah.
dude, thanks for being my very first interview of the year, man.
I'm
So
honored. I'm honored and grateful, man. I was like, I'm excited because Omar and I are gonna chill like the last dragon and bring on the glow for the new year.
but you're gonna be Shogun, and I'm gonna.
I, I don't want to be Shogun. Like, kiss my Converse, No, no, man. I fancy myself.
Shogun.
Yeah, I fancy myself more like this Bruce Leroy sensei, you know.
Oh yeah.
Think Leroy. One of
He
the
sends them over to find like the glow over at like the what is the fortune cookie place?
Yeah, yeah, some dumb guy, the fortune cookie factory, and he's like, but you know what was the best wisdom about that part? He goes, think, Leroy, you've gone on a journey searching for a master, looking for the answer to a question whose answer you already know. And that's when he gets the glow, when Shogun like shoving his head underwater, and Shogun's already got the glow, and then he reflects, and then he comes back. He's like, "Who's the master?" And then I am.
But you know what? You
Yeah.
know what's awesome about those times was the music, man.
Oh
I
yeah.
honestly I felt like back in those days that like movie soundtracks were like way more like just so epic. I felt like for an example, like Dumb and Dumber had one of the best soundtracks ever. Like
Yeah.
Night at the Roxbury. Like there's movies out there that just had like the most amazing soundtracks to go with it. And nowadays I feel like a lot of movies lack soundtracks.
Yeah. I mean, I think the last real cool one was like Judgment Night, right? Where they had like
Yeah.
that Slayer and Ice-T doing a thing and like all those collabs and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh
Um,
man.
Hey,
What is the one?
Crowbot. Remember Crowbot? I think it was
Yeah.
Not Crowbot, but Dave Grohl's thing that he did. He had King Diamond, on a song, and he had all these different things. I was like, man, that's epic. And speaking of King Diamond, you posted this video around Christmas time. You're like, how's your day at work? And it's like that giant Christmas tree, and you get in there like, ah! And the reverb in that room was just like crazy. I was like, man, I wanted to call you and be like, bro, you should get in there and do the King Diamond. Grandma. That would have been epic, dude.
Oh yeah.
I love seeing your videos in my feed, dude. It always like brings a smile to my face, and
Hey,
another thing,
thanks.
yeah, so yeah, my last name's Hardouin, but it was almost Rodriguez, so I
Oh,
got
how
that
so?
Rodriguez blood as well. So my father migrated to the States with my grandfather from Puerto Rico, and the last name
Whoa.
was Rodriguez. And then my grandmother, I don't know, for whatever reason, they took her last name of Hardouin, and so I'm first generation born here. But yeah, so the Rodriguez bloodline is deep in my family back in Puerto Rico and stuff. But yeah, Rodriguez.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I know it's a good last name. We are very proud people. We are very
For
proud.
real.
Um,
Yeah.
dude, becoming dude, I always see you grind so hard on this project. I know, and the thing is, it's like on your pages and everything, and your social media and all your songs, and albums and the guests you have on it, man. Why don't we dive a little bit into it on why you named it Becoming, and this project just feels like something you're putting like your whole life into, man. Tell me a little bit why you're so passionate about Becoming.
Well, let's see. So I started the band in like 1998 when I kind of got tired of, playing in other bands. I mean, I graduated in 1992, right? So, I was playing in other people's bands until about 98, and it got old because like I was the guy doing all the work. And like we had some manager who's like buying and making and selling t-shirts and keeping the money for himself, And I was like, wait a minute, this guy doesn't even do anything, he doesn't book a show, he doesn't, you know. So I was like, okay, I'm done with that, right? And then so the drummer in that band, his name was Caesar. He came with me and we started the band Becoming. And when I was searching for the name, I was kind of doing this soul searching thing, and I was on vacation. I think it was in like Scotland or something, and I went to the Hard Rock, and they had this like very nice like stained glass thing. And one of the folks that was kind of one of the founders, this dude named Zai Baba, he's like some old world yogi dude, but he says reality is lost in dreaming, and dreaming is lost in becoming. And that was
Whoa.
like, I was like, yeah, that's deep, right? And of course, I love Pantera. They had a song called Becoming, and I was like, that's it, done, right? And so I went and got that trademarked and started the whole process. And we put out an album in like 98. It was more like a glorified demo, right? And so, we were like the guinea pig band at, because back then you had to, fight for studio time and all this type. So I met somebody who was at California Recording Institute in San Francisco, and they're like, "Yeah, we need bands. We got all these students, but we don't have anybody to record." So I was like, "Yes, please." So I was showing up there like random times, day and night, being the guinea pig band, and working with the students and stuff and the teachers. And so we released, it was like a glorified demo with a really nice package and stuff. And I had my drummer from the previous band, and then I had a couple guys in the band that were like underclassmen in high school, like and they lived kind of in the neighborhood. And
Yeah.
so we went out, we hit it hard, and we were opening for just about everybody, like Testament, Exodus, Cannibal Corpse, Napalm Death, the whole bit. And then as time went on, he was like, they didn't really make the cut because, nowadays, when I look back, I was like, um, I would never choose certain individuals because I like to surround myself with people who are like professional and passionate and not immature and that sort of thing. So, but you know how it is. You get keeping a band together and having everybody on the same page, and the vision is always a challenge, right? So, over time, I ended up stopping music like almost altogether in around like 2003 when I became a dad, So, you know what that's like. You got all your
Oh yeah.
obligations, and being a dad's like an amazing thing, and or a parent in general. And so, yeah, I took some time off, and then, the band was never really broken up. I had my bass player and drummer, and there's a guy in the band officially, his name's Amir Faladgar. He's our guitar player, the lead guitar player, if you will, and he's just been with me ever since, But we released the album Sonic Revelations in 2009 because, the kids were a little bigger and I wasn't done, And so recorded everything at my house. We had Christopher Zeus Harris mix and master it. And that album did pretty well, But then again, it's like all of a sudden I was focusing on my career and, just trying to, build my life and take care of the family and stuff. So I put the music on the back burner. And then again, right around 2017, 2018, I was like, you know what? I'm still not done. I'm going to do
Oh
another
yeah.
album. And because music never leaves you, it's just
Yep.
like, it's always like my release after a long day at work and all that type of stuff. And so I started, putting together In the Name of God. I still had my drummer, and it was just me and Amir and our drummer. And, and then the album, it was interesting because I was like recording all the music, and then of the 13 songs on that album, I did all but four of them on the drums myself. And so after we released the album, COVID had just hit, and Caesar, my drummer at the time, we've been friends for like 20 years. He's like, "Oh, I'm retiring and I'm moving out of state." Him and his wife moved and stuff. And so I was like, what do I do? Right? You're like, okay, am I just gonna do everything? And it was, I mean, I got a lot of friends that I jam with, like I got this buddy Jesse. He's like an amazing drummer, and I mean, this dude is amazing. But I was like, let me just continue down this path, and I connected with Stick Zadinia from Steel Panther, and so he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm totally down to do some drums." I was like, "Dude, this is really cool. Did Stick Zadinia just say yes? Okay, let's go." And then he
Wow.
goes, "Send me a reference track on the drums." So, but every song on this Consciousness Revolution album that I'm working on, I did the original drum track, and then I'd send it to them, and they'd do their thing and come back, and it was obviously better than what I did, and just super stoked for that. So I started working with Styx. He did a bunch of songs, and it's heavier than the Steel Panther stuff. Steel Panther is fun and epic, and they're just awesome musicians all around. But this is like some Styx heavy times 10,
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I connected with Jason Bittner from, he was he's
Shadows
in
Fall and
Shadows
Overkill.
Fall and Flotsam and Jetsam. He even toured
Awesome.
as the drummer of Prong, and he's just an epic talent all the way around. And I just really love working with him. And so he banged out like the other half of the album. And then I have a drummer named Mike Tirana. You should probably see him on like socials. He's like this like very older gentleman with gray hair, mohawk, and he's putting his drum kit on a raft out in the ocean, and he's doing his thing. And his whole thing is, I won't stop the music. But he played with like Tony McAlpine, Yngwie Malmsteen, one of the ladies from Nightwish. Just a super cool guy. And then, so after, I had all the drum tracks and all the guitar and bass rhythm tracks done, I was like, yeah, I'm doing some solos. My boy Amir's doing some solos. But I got the opportunity to connect with, the, the folks that ended up becoming guest featured guitar solos on this album. John Danaeus from Anthrax and Shadows Fall. He's got another band right now, a side project called Living Wreckage. Awesome. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Doc Coyle from Bad Wolves, God forbid. He was just touring with Ice Nine Kills opening for Metallica. And Doc's just like cool, man. He's just one of those people that you like love. And then another gentleman that I connected with, his name's Caesar Soto. And Caesar Soto is like, he was in Pissing Razors back in the day. He's just released his own album called Man the Mute, which is really, really good. But he's also in Ministry. So, I mean, in addition to having the best hair in the business and just being a freaking cool ass guy, he's just like a freaking super talented dude, super professional. Love that guy. And then I think the other guest soloist, James Murphy, who was in Testament, Obituary, Death, and just a whole bunch of other bands, and his own band, Disincarnate, it was like legend status. And I met James like many years ago when he was in Testament and living in the Bay Area, and he had a recording studio in Oakland in like the total hood, you know what I mean? And it was funny because I connected with James. He actually recorded my previous band's like final project, final EP or whatever. And so I just stayed connected with him over the years, and I was like, if I could have anybody I want, like let me just call James.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's crushing it. So it's cool because each song's got like, on drums, either Sticks It In Ya or Jason Bittner for the most part, and then it's like some variation of John Danaeus, James Murphy, Doc Coyle, or Caesar Soto. So in terms of like vocals, like obviously I'm doing all the vocals, but I'm gonna have one guest feature, and that's gonna be Rob Dukes from Generation Kill,
Yep.
and he was previously in Exodus too, but Rob is just a stand-up guy, super cool, and I connected with him through our artist, Melody Myers, who designed by Melody, right? So she does our album artwork, she does our videos, and she's just, superwoman, amazing, love her to death. And she manages Generation Kill too. In fact, we just saw them come through the Bay Area with Hatriot like a few weeks ago in
Yeah.
December at a little club. It was awesome, dude. And so we're just hanging out and stuff and got to talking. I was like, you want to do it? I got a song with, Jason Bittner and James Murphy. You want to drop a guest vocal? He's like, I'm in. So I was like, cool, you know? But of course, once we wrap all this up, we're going to send it off to Christopher Zeus Harris. He's going to, he did the mixing and mastering on the last two albums. We're going to have him do it on this one too. Oh, I'm going to have one more guest feature, my brother Troy, because he's always been like there. He was running security for us. He was the road manager back in the day, and he's just always been like my number one supporter. So like having a big brother, in addition to him sneaking me into all the clubs back when I was a kid in the Bay Area, getting into the Omni and the Stone before I was old enough, he just been nothing but like an amazing supporter. So shout out to my brother Troy. So
Dude, that
I was
sounds like a super like Cloud9 type of project, man. Like just a whole lot of dreams
right.
coming true all at once. But at the same time, and it doesn't just happen just
No.
because you're lucky or anything. You have all this hard work and putting yourself in position to be able to put out the this killer album. I mean, not just killer album, all these killer songs. There's all these killer artists.
Totally.
When you're talking to all these artists to fill in a spot for you in a song, do you talk to them like briefly about like what you really want out of it,
Yeah. Well,
do you,
it's the
or do you just tell
concept.
them what's up?
Well, yeah. So like I always have the song written and I say, okay, your solo starts at 146 and goes to 226 or
Okay,
whatever,
yeah,
and you send them the track, make sure the bit coding and sample rates all there and so on and so forth. But it always is a conversation about, this is the context of the song, this is the lyrics, and things like that. And
okay,
and then like it's awesome because like especially Doc Coyle, like he just captured the like he felt the song. All of them felt the song, And obviously all these people could say no at any time, like if they think it sucks, they're not going to do it and put their name on it.
yeah,
That's just reality, no matter how much you pay them and shit. So, but the thing for me is it's like, wow, I'm working with these people, and it was like, coming from a place where it's like, oh wow, I just kind of cut the dead weight from like my childhood friends and folks that had been with me over the years and just said I'm gonna do this myself because I got time for people who are just kind of along for the ride, and people who are passionate and contributing. That's like the hardest part of a band, right? The thing that kills bands is normal everyday living, right?
yeah,
So somebody ain't got a job and this, that, the other, and they don't want to contribute, they can't show up, or even worse, you get somebody who does show up, but they're like, a fake friend type of thing where it's like they just kind of out for themselves and they're sort of ruining it while they're riding on your coattails. And so those are lessons learned over time, right? But consciousness revolution is all the concept is, it's all about raising the collective consciousness and the everyone's vibration globally, right? In
yeah.
the simplest terms, like, don't be a hater, be a good person, do good things, make the world a better place, and try not to let, the ugliness of the world get you down. You got to, stay strong, overcome, prosper, the whole bit.
Is that a little bit what Metal for Life Global is?
Yes. So, as you mentioned, it's like you see my stuff all over the place. It's like,
Yep.
at some point I had to just be like, okay, I don't have enough hours in a day to do all of this, so it's like, I got a team of folks. And so Metal for Life Global is kind so I got the trademark for Metal for Life. I bought the domains, metalforlife.net, .com, and .org. But the concept of Metal for Life is, to one of the things we're going to do is like really try and contribute to music in schools, like elementary schools for kids, because I don't know, you and I have been playing music our whole life pretty much. And in
Yeah.
elementary school, we had music programs. Nowadays, not so much, man. I mean, they have some here and there, but just music is such a powerful, uh, almost medicinal uh thing for people, and it's just the great uniter, it's the great healer is how I look at music. And so I think it's important for kids to have access to that sort of stuff.
No, absolutely. I mean, the only reason I'm even in music right now is because I had guitar class in freshman year of high school.
Right.
Yeah, and that's literally I had no ambition to start music. I never wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be an actor when I was younger. And then all of a sudden, I joined guitar class, and the only reason I even joined guitar class was because all my friends were way smarter than me in high school. They all had like
Mm.
advanced classes when we
Hmm.
transitioned, and I knew my best friend had a guitar class. So I joined guitar class, and then around that time, I got into like System of a Down, and I learned a couple of their songs, and then I just got addicted, and now it's 20 years later.
Yeah. And now you're also doing comedy, man. So it's like, I think that's awesome, dude. You're getting up there and you're doing it. Speaking of which, did you, well, I mentioned to you, I'm like, hey, you got to check out the Chris Hart and Kevin Rock show on Netflix. Did you see that one yet?
I didn't, but I don't
It's
know.
like you're gonna love it, dude, because they go behind the scenes of like how they write their jokes and their process. So I thought you're gonna love that. And then the other thing I just saw over the weekend was the new Dave Chappelle stand up, right? And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but there's a thing at the end, and your screen name reminded me of it. Was at the end he goes through his whole thing. It's funny. I was laughing from beginning to end, but he tells this story at the end, and he's like, basically, are you a dreamer or are you a character in someone else's dream? And I was like, damn, that is so heavy. That is just like that was like epic to, breaking off that knowledge. And so he thanked everybody. He's like, thank you for letting me be part of y'all's dream.
Dude, that's awesome. No, I can't wait to watch it. I don't know if I'll
Yeah.
watch. I don't know if I'll watch the Kevin Hart one though.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
because.
yeah, Chappelle is much better.
Oh yeah. Well, also, I just watched a bunch of stuff on like Cat Williams exposing Kevin Hart, calling him like an
Oh
industry
no.
plant.
Oh, I would believe that. I like Chris Rock. Kevin Hart, he's a little much sometimes, but I
Well,
just
and well,
like that
well,
they went behind the.
Cat Williams came out talking about how Kevin Hart was an industry plant and how Kevin Hart got all the jobs that Cat Williams wanted. I mean, not Cat Williams wanted, but all the ones that Cat Williams would like argue against because a lot of the things
Mm,
was like really degrading that Cat Williams didn't want to be a part of. Kind of like how like they like how Dave Chappelle said no to the $50 million
right, right.
Comedy Central contract because they were trying to degrade him and a lot of the comedy they wanted to make him do.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically the same thing where Cat Williams is supposed to be like the next guy, but
Hmm.
he didn't want to do all these things that they wanted
Hey,
him to do.
hey, my favorite favorite bit that Cat Williams does. He's all, haters gonna hate. You gotta just let it. That's their job. Let them hate. And then he's all, if you all don't have anybody to hate on me. To say my hair don't look luxurious when you know that it is.
Yes.
I love it. Ladies, if you only got 5 haters, you got to get it up to 15 by the summertime.
Oh,
Oh, man, I
no,
love
that's
it.
great. No, but that's
Yeah.
cool, man. You got to bring music to kids and inspire them to do crazy, be more creative, because like everybody just wants to be TikTokers nowadays.
Yeah, it's like so therapeutic too. It's like even my own kids, they pick up the guitar here and there and stuff. Like I'll never forget. There was one day I taught my daughter, two of my daughters, like, okay, guys, you're gonna play this progression. You're gonna go this chord just like this chord, and then like I'm gonna rip a solo. But like for like 10 minutes, we just jammed on this one little progression, and it was just like one of my favorite music memories. Is like playing with my own kids. So your little dude's gonna be jamming, I'm sure, dude. He's around music all the time with you, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, hey, honestly, man, I work my tail off, and one of the things I want to do is like I want to hand them down the keys.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how
Mm-hmm.
all these rock stars do for their kids, man. And yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm still gonna teach them work ethic
Yeah.
and
Well,
try
that's
and take them around the world to be humble, because a lot of people think just because we live here in the United States that we're like the sole thing in the whole world, but like if you travel around the world a little bit, you realize how
oh
great we
man,
have it, how great we
bro.
have it, even though you think it's not as great as you think it is.
Yeah, I was in Israel, I think 5 times over the last like 10 years because of, companies I was working with and stuff, in
Yeah.
the cybersecurity space. And I'll never forget one day I was like, I had an off day, from meetings, and I was like, I'm gonna go down to Jerusalem, man, go to the old city. And we're driving down the freeway and traffic stopped. I'm like, getting impatient. And all of a sudden a freaking tank drives across the freeway and had like 20 soldiers run by with their machine guns. I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just wait and be patient. It was like really crazy. And then, I haven't been back, and then all of a sudden this stuff's going on over there. It's just crazy. No matter which side you're on, it's just, it's like so sad. Like the ugliness of the world can get you down, man. And so again, consciousness revolution, it's like, let's focus on what we can control, like in ourselves, because, politics and all that, it's like, even if we do vote and this and that, it's not going to matter. It's all we don't really have a say. It's just the illusion that we have a say, you know. But I digress. Yeah, but you
Yeah,
know what I
no,
love about yeah,
what's up?
what I love about your show is like, you know, you're always talking to people like, we're here to bring inspiration. What are the lessons you've learned and stuff like that. And so there's so many good nuggets that I hear on your show all the time, you know. And you know, if I was to, you know, give my, you know, nuggets, it's like for especially for artists, right? It's
Yeah,
like focus on learning the business, right? Because, you know, if you're even going to do it seriously, you know, you might as well make it like a business, right? You know, make sure you
yeah,
know what your copyrights, your publishing, your licensing, trademarks, enforcement of your artist rights, have a good cease and desist letter. You know, I mean, I had to go battle Michelle Obama and Disney to keep the becoming trademark at one point, you know, because it was just like, wait a minute, Michelle Obama's got a book, Disney's got a TV show. Well, hey, I own it for music. We had to do like a coexistence agreement and all that, but that shit gets expensive, dude. So just, you know, get your ducks in a row first, right? So protect your IP, make sure you have a good attorney, you know, and you know, all that sort of stuff. Focus on, you know, not just your music being, you know, the best it can be, you know. And again, don't make music to please other people. You and I talked about this last time when we
yeah,
talked in like 2021. It's like just do something that you really love and you think is cool, and then, you know, your vibe will attract your tribe is how
yeah.
I think of it, right?
Yeah,
And then
absolutely. I mean, I always, I try to tell people like if you have a dream that like, you really have to go all in and really take it seriously, because the thing
oh,
is,
for
life,
real.
the entertainment business is a rat race, whether you like it or not. There's
Dirtiest
somebody, there's
business.
somebody, there's somebody out there that wants your exact dream, and they're going to work harder than you some days. And on
Yeah,
the day,
don't let
and on the
anyone
days,
outwork you.
yeah, on the days you feel miserable, the days you don't want to work are the days you should work twice as hard.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
what I mean?
also
Because
yeah, I'm of the belief it's like I don't compete against others. I compete against my own best effort, right? I'm always trying
yeah,
to do
oh
better than
yeah,
I did yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's
absolutely,
like, you know,
absolutely, dude.
and with that comes like, you know, as far as like, you know, the business of music, right? It's like, you know, are you work for hire? Like a lot of bands get in this thing where it's like, oh, wait, we're a bunch of homies and we got a band, and you know, and then it's like at some point they realize, wait a minute, I didn't write anything. I don't own the trademark. You know, am I work for hire or are you a co-owner of the band? You know, if you've got like three vocalists, two guitar players, a bassist, and a drummer, you know, $50 ain't going to go very far. You know,
Yeah,
and you know, and then there's always inevitably that power struggle. You know, somebody thinks they're cooler than somebody else, and there's that argument over who's writing what, and it's like I don't got time for that, man. I write all my own stuff, and you know, I have whoever I want play on it, right? But you
yeah.
know, I always say serious musicians, you know, they've often got a day job to support their music habit. You know what I mean? You gotta grind. You know, it makes for some long days. You know, if you're like you and me, you know, we're taking care of family. We out there working our job, grinding, you know, and then pursuing our passion. You got to get up and do it. You know.
No,
Um,
absolutely. I always tell people of like, if you want to be a professional musician, you should be a jack of all trades in the entertainment business. Be good at
yeah.
creating content. Be good at running your own websites, your own web stores. Get good at creating designs. Get good at literally like it's almost like if you want to be a real estate agent, be good at building a house first.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I mean?
real.
Like like
Like,
like like be good at be able to build your own house on your own. That's why it's like like I do my music thing, but like I also promote all day. I throw festivals, I throw shows, and
Medford
that's
Metal
why
Fest, bro. You're about to crush it on Medford Metal Fest again, dude, right?
yeah, was number four, I already have two comedy shows that I've booked this year.
Mm. See,
You know,
what do they say? The dream is free. The hustle
oh,
sold separately,
it is, man.
baby.
Hey, one thing I always tell people is that like, dude, you can do it too, man. You just have to put the effort in. It's not like everybody is special. I truly believe that everybody in the world has the capability of doing a lot of special things. It's just that like that will to believe in yourself, and also like I was very fortunate to have like a lot of great mentors, and and,
Yeah.
and I had a lot of big bros. to
Yep.
tell me, and also to choose your friends, because your real friends are the ones who will call you out.
Yeah.
There's two different type of friends.
Yep.
There's friends, like if you're having a bad day, there's a friend that will drown with you, and then there's a friend that will lift you out.
What was that? There was a joke I heard where it's like, you know, a friend, like, or a fair weather friend will be like, "Oh man, what happened to you? Why'd you go to jail?" But a real friend will be in jail with you, going like, "Man, can you believe this?" You know? But it's that's why, like, like, it's so important. Like, my biggest learning over the years is that you got to surround your people who are down with it. And friendships aside, like, you can be friends with somebody, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a good business partner. Because, like, let's say, like some people, I've met or worked with in the past, they can barely manage their own life. They're broke, they're in debt, they can't even, like, whatever it is their problem. I mean, money is money, whatever. But like, you can't manage your life. I'm not going to trust you to manage my business. And I definitely ain't going to have you going out there messing up my name for me because you're doing stupid stuff. You know what I mean? It's called
Yeah.
music business, not music friendship, to quote Paul Stanley of Kiss, you know? Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you off for 1 second. It is the top of the hour, and you are listening to the Metal Mixtape here on KSKQ 89.5 FM Ashland, Oregon, 94.1 FM Medford, Oregon, and streaming online on kskqdjramo. We are talking to Jason Hardouin, Becoming. To close out the interview, what is your main goals with Becoming? Your main goals with, uh, I lost it.
Metal for Life, Global.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, in my notes. Metal for
No,
Life
it's
Global.
good.
And what is your main goals for 2024 and the impact you're trying to have?
So, I mean, obviously, my goal is to finish this album up, get it all done, and release it. And, obviously, my thing is impacting, each listener, one listener at a time, man. It's like I've never been like oh, I got to be famous guy. It's like I don't even put myself in the music videos these days. It's like I don't post myself on the internet, like samples of the songs and any of that. It's like I don't even like to do that part of it. It's like I basically I'm Gen X, and I started outsourcing my internet stuff to Gen Z, my kids,
Uh,
their friends, And so, my goal is to release the best album that I've ever made, from my own sake, right? And I'm really excited about what this new album has turned out to be, and it's been growing, and other people are involved, and it's beyond my wildest dreams at this point. So release that to the world. Hopefully it impacts people, one person at a time, and it helps them through their life. That was kind of like the catalyst for Metal for Life, right? It's like Becoming is metal music that helps you through life, right? Because nobody needs the same old cliche typical metal, right? You got, no offense, but it's like, I like to be original and different, right? And I don't, there's not a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of bands doing a lot of the same stuff these days, and more power to them. But my thing is, and my path is like, I want to make this music that uplifts people, and I'm giving back to heavy metal what it gave to me when I was a youngster.
Hell yeah.
And with that in mind, it's like, the audience has been growing and growing. It's like on Facebook, we're at 261,000 followers, Instagram, 126,000 followers, and it's like, I get these messages from people. They're just like, man, this is the best. It just really helped me through the day. And like this song Through the Now really struck a chord. And those are the things that get me fired up. And it's like, you don't make any money in this business anyway. But that to me is currency, right? It's like I helped somebody through a dark time just by me making the music that I love and want to make for myself. Um,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Good stuff, man.
I love it, man. We're talking to Jason Hardouin, Becoming. We already played. Hold on.
I
Hold
heard you
on.
play In the Name of God earlier.
Yep. and we are going to play Far From Reality next.
Yeah, that was like the single off of our Sonic Revelations album. It was a lot of fun to make that album. That was like my first time. Like, okay, I got my whole house converted and garage as a studio, and we went for it. The neighbors weren't too impressed, but we did just fine. But great example of do it yourself and just believing in it and loving it. Actually, Far From Reality is actually about love, which is kind of yeah, as you hear the lyrics, it's about love and people's perception and perspective of love. What is it? And so I do some cool wordplay stuff in there that I think you'll enjoy, man.
Awesome. I appreciate you so much for being on the show and bearing with me. I'm having a hard night tonight. I have had a hard couple days, so I appreciate you with the patience with me because I'm on like on the last digit of gas.
Well, hey,
But you
man,
know
take
what? The
care of
thing is, I
yourself,
always tell
dude.
my listeners, I'm going to be here no matter what. I'm going to work hard
Yeah,
and long live heavy metal. Because if it wasn't for heavy metal, I wouldn't be where I am now in my life. I wouldn't
I
have
feel
kids.
that.
I wouldn't be talking to you, getting inspired, just just skipping the rock across the lake, dude. I'm just
I'm
having a
with it.
great. um,
100%, dude. 100%.
for anybody coming into this interview late, I should have this interview up by Friday night.
Nice.
Because tomorrow I drop off my son in Roseburg, which is like 2 hours away, and then I get my weekend off. But I
There you
should have it
go.
off. I should have it up tomorrow night. Jason, before I let you go, can you say this is Jason Hardouin from Becoming, and you are listening to the Metal Mixtape?
You got it, man. Anything for you, brother. This is Jason Hardouin from Becoming, and you are listening to DJ Ramo on the Metal Mixtape on kskq.org. Turn it up.
Hell yeah, dude. Freaking professional, dude. I appreciate you so much. Here he is, Becoming Far From Reality here on the Metal Mixtape.